What is Gucci YouTube? It's your boy Black Gucci out 3 long face skinny body. Here we are back still black with some more fire Boruto manga content. Now before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button because we have a lot to cover in this video. Yes, Sirski, let's get to it.
9 mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. 1 chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but me personally speaking for myself, Boruto chapter 16 was far from my favorite. Not saying that in a bad way. It wasn't my favorite, and I'm saying that in order to say this chapter definitely done something, both in verse and out verse. Like it done something different than what we normally get every month. I don't know how to explain it or what to exactly say about it, but it's a lot. And we got it. This is not the first out of the all 16 chapters of Two Blue Vortex text heavy chapter that we got. We got a couple actually, text heavy chapter with a lot of information, a lot of reveals, a lot of questions being answered, and a lot of new questions being brought up. But for some reason, talk to me, chat, like this chapter alone, and it's not my favorite. I gotta emphasize that so much, but it's like, I don't know, it's just, it's something about it's a lot going down. There's too much going down this chapter. Buku amount of like material to talk about. So much content unraveling. And I kind of understand because now this is like the close off point for the last 4 chapters. So the ending of a volume. So the next chapter is the beginning of the next volume for Two Blue Vortex. So I'm like, oh man, it's weird. It's very weird. So we just gonna hop straight into it. You already know my guy, Big Mangekyo Gang. Kashin Koji's out here chilling with the Mangekyo Gang chief Boruto Uzumaki. You know what I'm saying? The one of one big Boruto. You feel me? And they're explaining the gist of space-time ninjutsu. Now we got the spoilers. We talked about the spoilers on the channel about Boruto and Kashin Koji's flashback about the reveal of how Boruto ultimately came with his flying Raijin jutsu. Now, just to sum up essentially what Kashin Koji told Boruto, because it's a real interesting part that occurred throughout that conversation, and it leads to one of the main key things I wanted to point out, not just in this video, but in regards to chapter 16, is 3 things I noted reading over the chapter. 3 very important things that in the midst of everything that happens, a lot that happened, 3 important things caught my eye. So we're going to touch on that. But leading into the first one, definitely before we get into that, starting off with the conversation, he's breaking down, the basic use of Otsutsuki's, powers. So 2 of the basic powers that we see most Otsutsuki's use is the power of flight and the power of space-time ninjutsu. Now in Boruto's case, right, he's utilizing the space-time ninjutsu as he's done in the past, but in those regards, it being fluke. So whenever he's using his karma and the situations in the anime where we see the Jogan, but we don't want to touch on that. We're not really trying to get into that whole discussion of the eye right now, but still, all of the instances where Boruto used his karma to open that little vortex black hole and use the space-time ninjutsu when he teleported Ishiki away, when he used it with Kawaki in order to find Naruto, when he used it and Kawaki provoked him in order to get them out the dimension. All of these times were flukes, but that core principle, that core ability in order for the Otsutsuki to open a portal and travel, across dimensions, across spaces, across times, right? That ability is still, essential to Boruto and his being. And it took Boruto 6 years up into the future to master that ability, but he mastered it in a way, Kashin Koji explained, he turned it into a ninjutsu. Because instead of simply just opening portals, to save the time constraint and the compatibility of being able to use it instantaneously with the minimal movement required, right? He recreated the flying Raijin jutsu by essentially just applying his chakra to metal objects or to his ninja tools like the kunai, like the shuriken, and his sword that he got from Sasuke. He places his chakra onto those objects and leaving them in different locations in various places and areas. He's able to sense his chakra and travel to said location. Now, they got a little into the gritty myths and the ins and outs between the weaknesses of the jutsu. In Boruto's case, why he uses triangles, why he uses squares, why he uses diamonds. He's able to differentiate. So if he has 2 shuriken in similar areas and he's trying to teleport to one of those places, he won't be able to tell which one he's teleporting to unless he's able to differentiate between the shapes. So it's a lot of interesting things especially just in that part of Boruto's being broken down, how his future self came up with this own jutsu and turned it into a ninjutsu, breaking down his core ability to even space-time ninjutsu. But this is a lot in its own. And Boruto himself is shot like, bro, I ain't gonna lie, Kashikoji, you making me sound like a genius. My guy, yes, you're a genius, right? So he's explaining all of these things. And then as we move further along and through the flashback, Boruto asks Kashikoji, if we know the good and bad, why can't we just tell people the good future, the good parts, the things that help us progress to the outcomes that we want in order for everybody to be on the same page? Makes sense, right? And Kashikoji's like, unfortunately, the more people with more information about an upcoming future just leads to the more likeliness and likelihood of them deviating from the path that they initially would have taken, because you have the information. And he uses himself as an example. He's like, me personally, I'm not going to take the choices that I seen in the original futures that I saw when the world got destroyed prior to me learning about having the prescience ability. But now that he has this ability, he becomes the singularity of fate. And now that Boruto is getting privy to all of this information, all of this knowledge, albeit knowledge just being knowledge, something that he emphasizes, right? It makes Boruto himself a singularity of fate. And then we lead into one of the major key points, right, of the story, which is like segues perfectly into, Ada and the things that are going down current time inside of the verse, because we got Kashikoji 2 years in the past talking about things that are happening in multiple possible different futures, and then talking to Ada in a for sure future, knowing that she will see it at one point later in time, and Ada looking back in our current time at that point in time where Kashikoji is talking to a sooner or later version of Ada. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm trying to say, right? But it's just some real craziness going down. So Ada's watching the whole conversation, and she's figuring out in real time, in our time, okay, she has become a singularity of fate by listening over on this conversation with Kashikoji and Boruto, and Kashikoji is letting her know this is the truth about it, and this is how it goes with singularities. So the more people to find out, it's harder it becomes to actually see how things are going to play out. So once Ada snaps back to reality, Sarada's asking questions, and Sumire's, she's sitting there, she's getting ready to blow the tea kettle off the pot, right? And then Ada's like, you know what? I don't know about this, but after everything I just saw, I'm going to just play it safe. Boruto, he just can't say too much, y'all. And at the end of the day, let's just say it's for our sake. Let's just say it's for y'all two's sake. He wants to keep y'all safe. And that's when all hell breaks loose in Sumire's regard, because Sarada's like, nah, man, he's been holding it down for the town since day one, right? We can't just be letting him carrying all this burden on his shoulders alone. And Sumire's like, yo, G, can you think about Boruto man, scratch that. Can you think about me? You feel me? Bars. And Sumire is like, we got to really think, Sarada. We really have to think. And I'm going to just take a second to let y'all know, man, regardless of how it go, it don't matter, right or wrong. I'm on Sarada's side, bro. It's big. I told y'all, I didn't like the way I saw things were going in the fandom. I don't like the way Sarada is being represented right now. So I'm going to take a more vocal step forward in terms of representing Sarada and representing the Uchiha in this regard. But definitely, like, yeah, man, she's like, yeah, bro, you're not thinking about Boruto. You're not thinking straight. Long story short, you just got to use your head. Do you think he really wants to keep these secrets from us? Do you think he really wants to not tell us the things that are going down? We shouldn't even be chasing him, right? And she says some ignorant things, right? Albeit she is right in her own regard, but it plays all into the whole fact of, right? Because in the midst of everything going down, she's making sense. She kind of flips on herself when she brings up the fact that, okay, you're not thinking about my feelings and in that instance where you're hugging Boruto, right? But she brings up valid points aside from her, personal feelings and personal emotions. And she understands that in her own regard, right? And the fact that we see the guilt on Sumire's face, and we see the guilt in the fact that she has to run away after saying how she actually felt, we understand that she knew she wanted to say something, but she went too far into present herself and how she actually ended up saying the things that she said. And now I think this is going to be very important, not just for Sumire's character, but for Sarada's character. I think she's going to reflect on everything that Sumire said, and we already see the start of it towards the end of the chapter where she's being lost in thought, and Mitsuki's, snapping her back to reality, and Yodo's asking her questions that's throwing her off guard. So I really think Sarada's character is about to hit a huge development moment, and I'm here for it. And I'm gonna let y'all know straight up, we're gonna be touching on these different topics and these different aspects much more heavily in future videos. But just for the sake of the review and to touch on all of these different points in the chapter, we're gonna have to move forward. But still, Sarada is going to reflect heavily on these words and the discourse that occurred between her and Sumire, definitely Sumire, but also Ada too. And I already see people talking about it, a potential, a three-way for, Boruto's love interest in terms of Ada shifting allegiance and shifting alliances, which actually kind of crazy when you see how everything is slowly panning out and slowly playing out. Even with Ada's conversation with Shikamaru, we see all of the subtle signs, even dating back to her conversation with Mitsuki, that Ada is trying to keep it low-key. She's trying to tell herself that she's not, just with all of the external signs that we're seeing with her body language, that she's falling for Boruto, but she doesn't want to believe that she actually is, because after everything that has occurred, she has no choice but to stay by Kawaki's side. At this point, she done chose her choice, So I feel like that's really what Ada is tackling with, especially when she's contemplating on Kashin Koji's words, when he's telling Shikamaru, follow your heart, you did a good job. Ada's like, you know what I'm saying? And it's real interesting that we got both Ada contemplating, and then we see in the next panel, we see Sumire out here sulking and contemplating on the things that she just said, but ultimately her emotions, her emotions and how she feels as well. I think Sumire ultimately wants to be seen. She's more than just class rep. She's more than just she's more than all of that. And it took, and even for me personally, it took Sarada calling her class rep as she ran away and Sumire calling her out on that aspect. That actually hit deep. I was like, damn, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna defend Sarada all day, every day, but I was speechless for that one. You could have at least said Sumire, my girl. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, I don't know what to say to that. Maybe she do feel some type of way. So it's real interesting in that aspect, in that regard. But now we got my guy Shikamaru breaking down all of these things. We already know the feudal lord. He's been after Boruto's neck since day one, and we're gonna know what the elders' decision comes to as we move forward in the future. My guy Shikamaru is talking to Ada, right? And they get all of the surface level things out of the way. And Ada's breaking it down like she's seeing all of these things occur. The Shinju being made with Ryu, the attack on the Sand Village. And she's letting Shikamaru know, I'm telling you these things in hour separations and hours delay, because last time I looked at these people in real time, my guy Mamushi looked me dead in the eyes and it had me shook. I'm not trying to have that feeling again, right? And all of these things are being presented to Shikamaru. He puts two and two together. He's like, okay, we got that. We understood. I helped Boruto escape, okay, you caught me, haha, red-handed, but let's talk about the toad, right? Which actually surprised me. Shikamaru came clean with it, right? Because he's like, someone reached out to me and quote-unquote Boruto's ally, and the toad reminded me of Kashin Koji, and Kashin Koji pops out, and it lets me know, like, okay, so once Ada looked back in the early parts of the chapter and she's seen the whole conversation with Boruto and Kashin Koji, did the toad just dare? Was he just waiting to pop up, or did he wait until Ada made her way to Shikamaru and then he popped up and somehow told Ada like, okay, so it seems to me you finally know the truth, or you've seen the part that I explained, the things that actually happened, so now you're privy to the knowledge. So because Ada wasn't surprised that the toad was in her hair. So some type of alliance that we're going to have to really look into the details and all of the signs moving forward, and the signs that probably were in the previous 16 chapters of Ada shifting allegiances, ultimately not just from like the hidden leaf, because we know and we could tell from her conversation she doesn't really want no problems in terms of the Leaf Village. She likes it as a home and she wants to keep it normal and peaceful how it is. But shifting allegiances from Kawaki to Boruto, or just Kawaki to her own personal interest in terms of for the betterment of what she believes she wants to do, i.e. follow her heart. So it's going to be real interesting looking in that regard. Moving forward, she wasn't surprised by the toad, and Kashin Koji is breaking down all of these details, and Ada's just chilling and playing the backseat and listening as everything is unfolding. And the thing that clicks her and the thing that gets her thinking is when Kashin Koji tells Shikamaru to continue to follow his heart. So, right, that's very interesting. In terms of Sarada, I feel like Sarada and Sumire are going to have some real reflecting moments on that conversation. They're both going to have a good character development and good character change. That's one of the first things that I noticed. The second thing was Ada's shifting of allegiances. Not just the openness of her like not being surprised by Kashin Koji's toad being in her hair, and just her coming privy to the information of watching the past, and Kashin Koji telling her in the future that you're going to become a singularity once you watch this conversation, right? But the subtleness of her slowly but surely saying like, I ain't gonna lie, I might kind of just be rocking with Boruto instead of Kawaki, but I done already made all these choices, so I'm gonna just play the middle. Because she even says it, she's not trying to make anything else harder for Boruto, and she's just thinking out loud because she caught herself slipping, and Shikamaru's like, Coming in, what did you just say, right? So we're going to have to detail all of those things, looking forward to all of those things. But then, right, the main thing that we got with the Kasha Koji and Shikamaru detail is that Kasha and Koji is sending these people on a mission. Is this mean? Is just that, is this the most likely team? We got Big Sarada, we got the original Team 7, we got, Mitsuki, we got Konohamaru out here, we just missing Boruto. But is this original, team right here, is it a strong enough to take down the likes of 2 Shinju? Because we see that Kasha Koji's like, bro, I'm giving you the best possible future scenario right now. Don't ask me no questions. Send Sarada, Konohamaru, and Mitsuki. They're going to team up with 2 Saiyan Shinobi. Either or, Ryu or Matsuri or both. It don't matter. They're going to take them on and take them down. The goal is to take out Jura's allies with swiftness and decisiveness. And if he ever pulls up in the midst, retreat. You know what I'm saying? We already talked about it in the spoiler. He's the number 1 customer in the Konoha village. Don't be messing with my guy Jura. Flee on sight order. Stop playing. So now, I'm thinking about it like, okay, these 3 power levels, just that much, because we understand Gaara with Team Shinki wasn't enough to just get Matsuri, or is it just that, the secrets behind Sage Mode's Mitsuki and Sarada's Mangekyo is going to be so mind-blowing that they're just going to put everything else inside of the dust, and it's going to be like, yeah, well, obviously they're stronger than Gaara. I think, y'all, first of all, let me not even tell y'all what, first of all, it's Big Sarada, it's Big Uchiha vibes. I ain't gonna lie, the power is about to be crazy. She's finna put some work on these Shinju. Let's not front like she's not finna do that, right? But looking at it in a more logical sense, right? I think it's more so in the case where Kasha and Koji understood maybe the best possible future with this team is because they are the most likely to cooperate with Boruto in a situation. If they were to come across Boruto, we understand Sarada is immune. Mitsuki's been battling with his personal feelings. He's already helped Boruto on occasions. And Konohamaru has fought together with Boruto to kill a Shinju previously. So that might just be one of the main reasons where it's the best team for Boruto's case in terms of him operating on the battlefield. Or, let's just go ahead and freeball it. Like, hey, this team is just probably the powerhouse. The powerhouse is at the end of the day, we knew Shinki was one of the strongest ninja in the village outside of Gaara and his close entourage, maybe Kankuro and them like that. But Shinki is definitely the strongest in the same village. And likewise, his team is probably up into that power level or relative to that in that sense. They probably got some random, useless Sand Jonin up in there. Ain't nobody, of notable, of worth. So it would make sense for Yodo and Araya to be the 2 that they send. So these 5 might just be the heavy hitters of heavy hitters, and they might just be enough to take down Matsuri. I'm not even finna press on that. I'm not finna press on that this video. I'm just presenting y'all the facts that we got this chapter, and these are the facts that we got this chapter. So there's a lot to break down, and honestly, the Sand Village arc is looking like it's about to turn a lot of heads. It's looking like a lot of splits in the fandom is about. I'm talking about from Sarada, from Sumire. I'm talking about disappointment and why couldn't Gaara do this if they're gonna send Team Konohamaru to do it? I see this. I could see it. No pun intended. But I got the prescience, and I'm seeing all of these possibilities right now. A lot of upset heads, but it's about to be a boom. It's about to be a boom in the community. As soon as we kick off the next volume, soon as chapter 17 kicks off, and we see how things are gonna be moving forward, especially if this fight is actually about to occur, right? How are things about to be playing out? It's going to be real interesting. It's going to be real sweet. But y'all want to know one thing I peeped in this chapter, though? I peeped that we ain't get a word, a sight, or, not even a lie out of my guy Amato. We didn't see nothing from Kawaki, so I got my eyes open for that. Stay tuned. Let me know how y'all feel about Boruto chapter 16 and how y'all feel ultimately about the Sand Village arc, quote-unquote Sand Village arc kicking off. And what are y'all most looking forward to moving forward? It's your boy, Black Shout. Holla at your boy. I'm going to holla at y'all, Black Shout. Yes, sir. Ski.